Well, hello, and thank you for joining us today. And I have a little surprise today. I am doing something completely different. I am going to make some plantain pancakes. And this is great for having an alternative to using wheat products and stuff like that. So many people are gluten-free and whatnot and are looking for alternatives to not have that wheat in the diet. So I kind of discovered this last year. Bobby made this and it was like, oh my God, you cannot tell the difference between this pancake and just a normal wheat, flour-based pancake. So I thought I'd just kind of have some fun. So we're just going to take these plantains and cut into these chunks, and we're going to just blend it and then add these little ingredients here, and voila, we have some nice pancakes. So you start off with a plantain, which is in the banana family. It just says, and the reason we're using green is because, and that's really kind of the important thing, it has less sugar in it. It hasn't developed the sugars, and it just really makes for a very, very good product here. So let's start. We're going to start with the blender. So I have, I'm fortunate enough to have a nice Vitamix. You don't have to have a Vitamix, but it kind of helps. So I'm just going to dump some of this in here. I'm not going to put it all in. Well, I almost put all of it in, but that's okay. I'm going to pull a little bit out. And then I'm just going to blend it. And then I'm going to just start adding these ingredients. Okay, I'm going to mix it up a little bit, like that. And then I'm going to do that again. And then I'm going to add a little bit more. And as you add the ingredients, you'll keep blending this so that it does actually come out quite nice. So now we add the egg. We're adding 3 eggs. And if you don't eat eggs, you can always add an egg replacer to this. So in fact, there's a product called Egg Replacer that you could always use. So I like to stick my little spatula down and get it mixed up a little bit. You can either use a food processor or a blender, either one. I find that the blender tends to make it a little bit more smooth. We've done both ways. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding I'm going to add some vanilla, so 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and we'll post the recipe online. Then I'm going to add, now this is coconut oil. We love coconut oil, and so I'm going to add coconut oil that's been melted, and then I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of sugar. Now what we use for sugar is monk fruit, so it doesn't have as much high glycemic reactions as regular sugar. I'm going to add some salt. It's just 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. We're going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, and that's kind of it. That's the ingredients, except for the blueberries, which I'm not going to blend in. So I'm just going to make sure it's all pulled out and everything. It's looking pretty smooth right here, but I'm just going to blend a little bit more. Then I'm going to add the blueberries. Then I'm going to add the blueberries after I mix it up one more time. this on high. But you know, it's looking very smooth, so I'm going to go ahead and add blueberries, and I'm going to mix those in myself and not turn the blender on unless you want a bunch of blue batter. I'm just going to do that. And it's just, you know, a little bit of blueberries, whatever you want. You can use fresh blueberries, or mine are frozen organics that we get every year. We just fill our freezer up with organic blueberries. And but it seems like these days there seems to be blueberries out in the markets quite a bit. Or you can not add any of that. So I'm just going to sprinkle some oil on here. This is coconut oil. I've already preheated the griddle. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. This again is coconut oil. I love coconut oil. It's really a great product. And then I'm just going to kind of pour it out in whatever size you like. But you can see the consistency of this is just looks like a normal. You couldn't, if you were going to look at this and say, oh, that looks like pancake batter, you would not know that this is made from a plantain. It's crazy. And when you eat it, it's the same thing. It's like you basically cannot tell. And I think I can get maybe 8 out of this. We'll see. Look at that. Maybe just add a little bit more to some of these. But I tell you, this is one of my favorites. It really has become, and it's not because I'm gluten-free or anything. I tend to, you know, eat, you know, I love bread and that sort of thing. But, you know, just looking for some alternatives. And this is just, I found this to be kind of a really fun alternative. Okay, I'm gonna let this cook for a little bit. It's going to take a little bit to cook. I want to make it so that it's about 5 minutes per the pancakes for one side. And then and we flip it over and it's a lot less time cooking on the other side. Meanwhile, I've been having so much fun doing this show, and I've got a lot of response, and I really appreciate everybody helping me and giving me some suggestions and that sort of thing. One of the suggestion things was doing like a breakfast item. So this is kind of where I started from. I've had some other recipes that I've been working on with some eggs and some vegetables and kind of like a nest, and that one I'm looking forward to doing, and that should be coming up too as well. And as well as just looking at all the feedback, and people are fairly excited about this, I guess. I don't know. Okay, let's start turning them. Griddle is a little hot, but that's okay. Let's see how they are. This one's ready. Sometimes you can wait for the holes to pop through, but this is a little bit different than normal wheat pancakes. But you can see they look just like a pancake. Whoop, like that. Look at that. 8 pancakes. Yum. I'm getting hungry just looking at that. So anyway, but I don't know if a lot of you know that I work in the film business, and one of my things is that I've been behind the scenes on cooking shows for years, and it's been kind of fun to watch that. Well, this is just a little thing that I'm doing myself, and I don't have a full crew, and I don't have a director and producers and lighting guys, you know, the gaffers and whatnot. And I don't have an art department setting up everything. I don't have food stylists in a back kitchen cooking things for me and bringing me things. But I do have my wife, Bobby, and she helps me do all this, which is great. The two of us are kind of doing this. It's a ma and pa thing. But, you know, one of the things I did on set was I was the guy back in the kitchen working and doing snacks all day. And I would oftentimes feed the chefs. not oftentimes, all the time, feeding the chef and feeding the crew and that sort of thing. And I bring out snacks, and once in a while I was never really a caterer, but I was more just doing ongoing snacks all day. So I do like heavy snacks and what sort of thing. So it's called craft service. That was kind of my position. But anyway, that kind of, you know, it was always kind of funny that I would be walking out and feeding the chefs, and I found that kind of be, you know, interesting. Anyway, let's take a look. These are still needing a little bit more, but you can see that they've kind of puffed up like this. I mean, this is pretty amazing. Uh-oh, I'm sticking there. There we go. But they're still cooking inside. But this is actually got almost, I would say it's close to 3/4 of an inch thick. So it's a nice big bed going on here that this kind of puffs up. It's very similar to a wheat-based product, but I think we're almost getting there. So I've got my plates ready to go, and I'm going to be serving this today. I don't have any eggs or anything, but we have eggs in the potatoes. I have eggs in the pancakes, and I'll be serving this with a little bit of yogurt and some jam and a little bit of maple syrup, and that's going to be what really makes this thing. You can have the jam or not have the jam because it's already got the blueberries in it. Sometimes a little jam with real maple syrup and some yogurt is just a delight. So I'm going to serve these up. Looks like they're ready to go. Let's get them nice and on the plate. There's one. Let's get these out there. Look at that. Just yummy. I think that one needs a little bit more. Look at that. Look at this. Pancakes. Oh my God. Plantain pancakes. Yummy. Thanks again for joining us. And my name's Dave Nugent, or you can call me Nuge. And this is What's on the Griddle.